which is an impossible feed rate. And you can see it's a spiral groove. It's, you know, they're not just scratches. And we looked at some other artifacts in the Petrie Museum, some evidence of lathe turning. This is a kind of an interesting object here. And then of course, the Denderer artifact or relief, which actually perfectly resemble a Crookes tube, which Sir William Crookes invented, and they discovered X-rays by using it. It's a cathode ray tube. And I believe I am done. Thank you.
We do have time for some questions. I've got some, and shortly too, we'll have some more dirts and stuff like that. Let's start there.
So Christopher, I've been called Egypt several times.
You've been called?
I have been called to Egypt several times.
Yes.
Did you go?
I went. Underneath that pyramid is a room way below, that has all of the records and why it was built. It's a communication instrument. And so I've been told a lot of things about it, and I thought I understood going to Egypt, but I was going to have to go back.
Well, I'm going to have to go with you because you can show me that room, because
it's much below, and this being who's not on the planet, never has been, and he says that all of the records of how and why this was built is down in his chamber. Now, about 10 years ago, there were a couple of young men, who said they had drilled through that down that channel, but I know they didn't, because they didn't. I know what some of the records are, because I've been told, and this is big, it's not on the planet. And so I'm an attorney, and I see that we've got to go back and get that opened up and get the records out, because the world needs to know what is supposed to be doing.
The Hall of Records has been a fascinating subject for many people. Personally, I believe that the Hall of Records is available for people to see. It's just a matter of interpreting it. Is there more to be discovered underground? Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that there is. Whether there are written records that describe everything in detail, I don't know. But it's fascinating.
Since it's before writing, there's probably not written records.
It may not be an English language.
Yeah. Right. Yes, sir.
The power is produced by the pyramid. Do you know how it was, what the purpose of it was? Why was it? How was it used, or how was it transmitted, or?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, you know, when we talk about our civilization today, we take many different forms of energy and ultimately convert it to the kind of energy that we can use. And we have devices that we actually power with this energy. Similarly, I would say that was the case in the past, that they were able to, for one thing, the microwave energy that emitted from the King's Chamber could have been used to, it could have been converted to different frequencies, and it could have been transmitted to different points on the planet. I mean, if we're talking, you know, Tesla technology, where you have the wireless transmission of energy. But the real question is, and this is, you know, I perfectly understand, people want to see the artifacts that this energy was used to drive, if you will. And I can only refer back to the cataclysm that we talked about earlier, and what would happen with our civilization should we have a cataclysm of that proportion visited upon us, that we are so vulnerable because we're specialized. And as I was talking to one gentleman this morning, that you know, you just take out one section of our society, say in extraction technologies, mining, you know, what would happen? It would, like, I'll just give you an example. We create products for jet engines and stationary gas turbines. Okay, we use nickel cobalt alloys, very sophisticated alloys. If extraction technologies were lost, if the mining and the smelting technologies were lost, and we couldn't get our materials, then you would have a chain reaction all the way down the line. The planes won't be able to fly, the power plants won't be able to, the turbines won't be able to spin. And a cataclysm too could actually scour great portions of the land. If you had tsunamis coming, because depending on where a comet would hit and what kind of changes happened at that time, it could be tremendous.
You suggest, as like on the cover there, that it's sending a maser and it's clearly going up in the sky. So you had also your last illustration in the book was like this
Yeah.
satellite. I mean,
Oh, that was.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that was just a, yeah.
Well, what do you do with this thing? Now you turned it on.
That was just a fun little doodle, I just put through that in there to tweak the noses of Egyptologists because it drives them crazy. But they.
You can show people that one.
One other thing, in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, the Grand Gallery.
What?
The Grand Gallery.
Grand Gallery, I'm sorry. You call a resonating chamber?
Yeah, the Resonator Hall.
Resonating hall. I believe at one end of it, there's actually like a plug that they call that's actually. Isn't there a plug at one end of the hall of the chamber?
Yeah, the plug of the
Ascending passageway.
Yeah. There are plugs down the ascending passageway. Yeah, granite plugs.
But isn't there a plug that could actually have been moved up and down the Grand
No.
Gallery?
When they originally poured into it, I thought there was some kind of plug there.
No, it's an ascending
No.
passageway.
It's there, but it can't be moved. That plug.
No,
It's
no.
there, but, yeah, it's an idea that it could be moved, but
My theory is this: that plug was movable, and that you could, by moving that, you're changing the size of the resonant chamber.
like a trombone. Or
Therefore, you can actually adjust.
Oh, I see. I see what you're driving at. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is one idea. Personally, I don't agree with that because I looked at the pyramid in this way, and this is just my idea. Ultimately, any idea has to be tested. So I'm not saying this from a position of authority or anything like that. It's just my idea, and from a practical perspective, that when they built the pyramid and they put all the equipment together and they perfected their technology, everything was closed up. Okay? And so there was no access to the inside of the pyramid. And when you have moving parts in any machine, they require maintenance for the most part. They have to require maintenance. So basically what you had was a solid state, in my opinion, and the way this hypothesis works, you had a solid state piece of equipment, and the only movement were discrete movements, such as the vibration and the sound. That was the only movement. Yeah, when you have mechanical members moving together, then you've got friction to overcome. Then you've got other considerations that you have to make. Yes, I think there was one in the back there.
Yeah, have you considered making a miniature working model of your theory to see exactly what it does?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, it's funny you should ask that. Even a miniature working model, would take resources that I don't have. But I can share with you now that there is currently interest in creating such models and actually proving out the technologies in different ways. The seismic attenuation or mitigation part of it, the coupled oscillator part of it. And this interest is not just a backyard hobbyist. It's a major corporation, a major organization. Yes, sir.
Two things. When you're talking about the cataclysm, or you're talking about the crustal displacement in 9600 BC or the 7 cometary impacts in 7460, and do you know the difference between
I don't know the difference between the two, but I would say that, yeah.
I can give you references on them. And then
Can you give me references on them? Because there's a young lady back there, Kathy Caston, who sent me an email, and she's been berating me all weekend because I haven't really published in Atlantis Rising this smoking gun that she sent to me. But I would like to get that information.
Okay. that subject. Second thing is, why did you choose the angles on the pyramid which are inaccurate on the front of your book?
I'm sorry?
On the front of your book,
Yeah?
why did you choose those particular angles?